What is up, everybody? JT Dangerous here once again. I am back for my Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor 2017 prediction. Now, of course, Death Before Dishonor is the next pay-per-view after, of course, Best in the World, and is of course this Friday live on pay-per-view from Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, this is the 15th annual Death Before Dishonor for Ring of Honor. Of course, at last year's Death Before Dishonor, we got to see Adam Cole defeat Jay Lethal and end his year-long ROH World Title run. So this pay-per-view has been great, and now this year's looks to be even better. We got 8 matches confirmed on the card and 4 Ring of Honor titles on the line. So I could not wait to do these predictions, and I hope you guys do enjoy this. Now, of course, our record coming into this show after the last Ring of Honor show, which was, of course, Best in the World, we went 6-2. So our overall record coming into Death Before Dishonor this year is 25-7. So we are, as always, killing it with Ring of Honor pay-per-views on this channel. Of course, we do not have a losing record in all year when it comes to Ring of Honor. So I'm very proud of that, of course. So hopefully this Death Before Dishonor will continue the winning ways when it comes to Ring of Honor predictions on this channel. Now, of course, before I start, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching all the videos these last couple weeks again. I know this has been a lot of videos in the month of September, but it's all been worth it because you guys are making it so much fun for me to do. Now, of course, this is the 3rd video of 5. Count them, 5 videos that will be uploaded today. Now, of course, I have my other 2 videos already up on the channel. Definitely go check them out. Of course, my New Japan Pro Wrestling Destruction in Kobe 2017 predictions. And, of course, the next Raw pay-per-view after SummerSlam, which is No Mercy. So those 2 videos are already up on the channel. And then later today, I'll have my Week 4 college football predictions, and then at the end of the evening, I'll have my Week 3 NFL predictions. So remember, 5 videos will be up on the channel today. So hopefully you guys will get to watch all 5 of them. Now, of course, we're at 170 plus subscribers strong, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel. Of course, if you're a new subscriber, thank you guys for super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. It's great to have you. And of course, to my longtime subscribers, thank you guys so very much for sticking around and, as always, killing it. Now, of course, if this is your first time watching my channel as a new viewer and this is your first video, welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I'm, of course, JT Dangerous, and welcome to the club, because this club is just whoop whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into this card. Now, of course, these are not in order. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing. So let's get right into it. Now, I'm going to start off with the first match. A 6-man tag team match where the winner will get a chance to challenge the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team champions later tonight. Of course, on one side you have the greatest tag team wrestler of all time, of course, Bully Ray, and the greatest Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions in the history of Ring of Honor, Mark and Jay the Briscoes, versus, of course, the first Ring of Honor World 6-man Tag Team Champions, of course, Matt Taven, Vinny, and TK Orion, of course, the Kingdom. Now, of course, whoever wins this gets a World 6-man Tag Team title match later tonight against the brand new Ring of Honor World 6-man Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. So this is a big opportunity for both teams for sure. Of course, at Best in the World, Bully Ray and the Briscoes lost to Dalton Castle and the boys because Jay Briscoe lost his composure. He definitely lost his focus, and that's big time when it comes to wrestling. You lose your focus, you're destined to lose. So they're definitely looking to get back on track. Of course, Jay Briscoe's coming off a concussion. What else is new with Jay Briscoe? He's had concussions before, I think, like in his early career. So having another concussion is a big concern for sure. And then on the other side, you have the Kingdom, of course, looking to get back to their former glory, which is not Michael Bennett, not Maria Kanellis, not Adam Page, and not Adam Cole. So it's, again, you know my thing about the Kingdom. They're very nickel and dime. They're not really interesting to me, as well as the beginning, the real Kingdom. This was just a very watered down nickel and dime team. So coming from me in this first matchup to see who will face the Young Bucks later tonight, I'm going to take Bully Ray and the Briscoes. I think it would be a very interesting matchup with the Bucks against Bully Ray and the Briscoes for the titles, other than the Kingdom, because the Kingdom is just shit. No offense to them, but they're shit. So coming from me in this first matchup, I am taking Bully Ray and the Briscoes to defeat the Kingdom. And now the next matchup, a Las Vegas street fight featuring, of course, 2 guys who just personally hate each other. Of course, I am talking about the youngster, the New Zealand man, Jay White, versus, of course, the big man of Ring of Honor, Punishment Martinez. Now, of course, both these guys have been at it Ring of Honor television, Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Of course, Jay White is making his he's wrestling his first match since War of the Worlds, and I think in July. Last time he fought was Will Ospreay, and this is Punishment Martinez's first match since Supercard of Honor in April. So it's been a while since we've seen these two on pay-per-view. Of course, we've seen Punishment Martinez a few times after matches trying to make his point on whoever lost in the matchup. He just attacks him, and then of course Jay White comes out. So they had to have a match. Of course, Jay White, talented kid out of New Zealand, of course, started in the New Japan dojo, and of course being in Ring of Honor, he's been a very talented, and he is a bright future in Ring of Honor. And then on the other side you have Punishment Martinez, of course, big man, reminds me a lot of Baron Corbin, but less boring and less buried as Corbin is, but he's talented. For somebody big, he's very talented. So this is going to be a fantastic, and it's a street fight when it means anything goes. Definitely, and it's in Las Vegas street fight. It's going to go everywhere in the building for sure. So coming from me in this Las Vegas street fight, oh man, this one's tough because I like Jay White, and Punishment Martinez is not too bad. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take... I'm going to take Punishment Martinez to win. I just think with the size, definitely suits him in this matchup. And you're giving a big guy like him weapons, not a good idea for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking Punishment Martinez to defeat Jay White. And now the next matchup, a singles matchup featuring, of course, the Kentucky Gentleman and the reigning PWG Heavyweight Champion, Chuck Taylor, versus, of course, he is representing... Too sweet! Whoop, whoop. Of course, he is the former Ring of Honor television champion, and if you know his music, you know who I'm talking about. Whoop, whoop! Of course, that is the music of the villain himself, Marty Scurll. Now, of course, this whole thing started, of course, it looks like it started on Twitter, of course, on Ring of Honor television. Ian Raccaboni, never know his name, just call me Ian Macaroni, stated that Chucky Taylor and Marty Scurll has been beefing on Twitter, and of course he wanted the Kentucky Gentleman, Chuck Taylor, wanted to challenge Marty Scurll, and of course Marty Scurll accepted the match. Now, this is very interesting. Of course, this is the first singles match in Chuck Taylor's this is Chuck Taylor's first singles match in Ring of Honor. Of course, the last time we saw him was at, of course, Best in the World in that triple threat tag team match when he tag teamed with his best friend Beretta. So this is his first singles match on pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. Of course, he is the PWG Heavyweight Champion. Of course, beat Zack Sabre Jr. for that belt. So the Kentucky Gentleman is looking to prove that a gentleman can beat a villain. Now, of course, on the other side, you have Marty Scurll. What else can you say? This guy is awesome. I love Marty Scurll. I love the villain aspect to him. Of course, being part of Bullet Club, it's also just too sweet. Of course, with Marty Scurll, he's been killing it in Ring of Honor. He's been killing it in New Japan. So this definitely is going to be a show stealer for sure with these two. And definitely coming from me in this matchup between the gentleman and the villain, I'm not a face. I'm always going to be a heel. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the villain, Marty Scurll, to defeat Chucky T with, of course, the chicken wing. And now the next matchup, a last man standing matchup featuring two guys who have just absolutely destroyed each other these couple months on Ring of Honor. Of course, I am talking about wrestling's last real man, Silas Young, with, of course, hopefully the Beer City Bruiser, versus the greatest first-generation wrestler in this business today, and, of course, the former Ring of Honor and television champion at the same time. Of course, I'm talking about the franchise himself, Jay Lethal. Now, of course, this whole thing started at Best in the World, where Jay Lethal got a big win over Silas Young, and then after the match, Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser went to town on Jay Lethal. Of course, hurting his ribs, and of course having the Beer City Bruiser splash him on top of tables, breaking two ribs, and that also was the catalyst to costing Jay Lethal the IWGP United States Championship at the G1 Special, because he was the walking wounded. Again, he lasted as long as he could, but he of course got eliminated by Kenny Omega, a not 100% Jay Lethal. So Jay Lethal is looking for revenge. Of course, a few weeks ago on Ring of Honor television, he beat the Beer City Bruiser in a no disqualification match and destroyed his leg. And of course, a few weeks ago on Ring of Honor television, you saw him with a brace. So his mobility is going to be very questioned in this match. Of course, coming from me, I think this is definitely a contenders match. Whoever wins this should definitely be next in line to whoever the Ring of Honor World Champion is by the end of tonight. Silas Young, of course, wrestling's last real man, wanted to have a last man standing matchup. And he, of course, said, I already know I'm going to be the last real man standing, which is very interesting. Of course, with Jay Lethal, he's been through so many crazy matches. I mean, bull rope match against Cody in April. He's been in wars when it comes to no DQ or count out. Just whoever's the last man standing wins. So this is going to be a war right here. And this is a good way to end this bitter rivalry between Silas and Jay Lethal. So coming from me in this matchup, I got to go with Jay Lethal. I think Jay Lethal is going to definitely get some revenge after having his ribs broken by, of course, Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser. So coming from me in this last man standing matchup, I'm going to take Jay Lethal to defeat Silas Young. And now the next matchup for the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Champions. Of course, the challengers who later this evening beat the Kingdom to become the #1 contenders for these Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championships. Of course, Bully Ray and the Briscoes versus, of course, they are the reigning and defending Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Champions. They all represent Too Sweet. Whoop, whoop. Of course, consisting of Hangman Adam Page and of course the reigning Ring of Honor World 6-Man the reigning Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions of the world, and of course the Super Kick Champions of the world, because it ain't no party like a party with, of course, Matt, Nick, the Young Bucks. Now, of course, Matt, the team known as Hung Page became the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Champions in the UK at War of the Worlds, where they defeated Dalton Castle and the boys. So the Young Bucks went from having the junior tag team titles. They lose them at the G1 Climax, and then later in the month they become multiple time tag team champions. And of course, having Adam Page as their partner, of course, winning his first official Ring of Honor title since he's been there. So congratulations to Hangman Page. And of course, the Young Bucks, you lose one belt, you gain another, which just makes them even more awesome. And of course, they'll also be defending the Ring of Honor tag team titles on this show as well. So the Young Bucks will be doing double duty tonight. So it's going to be a super kick party like no other tonight. So coming from me in this Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship matchup, this one's a good one because Bully Ray and the Briscoes against the Page and the Bucks. This is going to be maybe the Bucks' biggest challenge for sure. For sure, the biggest challenge as the World 6-Man Tag Team Champions. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the Hung Bucks to defeat Bully Ray and the Briscoes and retain their Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championships. And now the next matchup for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. Of course, the challenger looking to win his first Ring of Honor gold in his career. Of course, he is representing Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, he is making this is his hometown. Of course, he is a former X Division champion in TNA, and of course, a former contestant on The Bachelorette. Of course, I am talking about Kenny King versus, of course, he is the reigning and defending Ring of Honor Television champion. Of course, Time Splitter, Kushida. Now, of course, this one's gonna be another show stealer. Of course, Kenny King is getting another shot at Kushida for the television title. Of course, I think he had one later in the month, like in the past couple months. So again, this is his rematch. Of course, he's looking to win the television title in his hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, in front of friends, family. So this is a big time moment for Kenny King. Of course, he has said that you're going to see a Kenny King you have never seen before. And coming from me, Kenny King is the most talented guy I know, most talented guy I've watched. Of course, like I said, when the Rebellion split up at Best in the World, Kenny King is going to rise for sure. Of course, seeing him in like 2006 and 2005, just jobbing to guys like Joe, Styles, Daniels, and TNA. And now look where he is now. He's trying to be the KING King for sure. And then on the other side, you have Kushida, who of course has been just dominant as the Ring of Honor television champion. He's been killing it. I mean, since he's won it at on a Ring of Honor taping against Marty Scurll. So he has not wavered, and he's had a hell of a year for sure. He's had a rocky first half of the year. Now he's into the second half of the year, and he has been dominant for sure. So coming from me in this fantastic ROH Television Championship matchup, again, I love Kenny King and I love Kushida, especially somebody who watches New Japan Pro Wrestling as myself. So coming from me in this matchup, again, I like Kenny King. He's in his hometown, but I just do not see it happening here. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking Kushida to defeat Kenny King and retain his Ring of Honor Television Championship. And now the next matchup for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships of the World. Of course, the challengers. They are a former TNA Tag Team Champions. Of course, each one of them have held the X Division Championship. Of course, one of them held the World Championship. And, of course, another has won the Junior Tag Champs in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, of course, this is a rematch of a match in TNA that was amazing, if you remember. Now, if you do remember their old music in TNA, you'll know who I'm talking about. Dramatic pause. Of course, that is the music of Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns versus, of course, they are the reigning and defending Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions of the World. They are, of course, representing once again Too Sweet. Of course, they are... And they, of course, are the Super Kick Champions of the World. And once again, it ain't no party like a party with, of course, Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks. Now, of course, this is a rivalry that's been going on since 2009, of course, in TNA, when the Young Bucks were Matt and Nick Buck, the Generation Me versus the Motor City Machine Guns. So they also had a fantastic ladder match at a TNA pay-per-view. So this is a long-term rivalry for sure with the Bucks and the Machine Guns. So this one's a good one. Of course, the Young Bucks have already wrestled tonight against with their ROH six-man tag team partner Hangman Page against Bully Ray and the Briscoe. So of course they're doing double duty because they're just too sweet. You just can't go wrong with the Young Bucks. They're doing they're pulling a double duty tonight for sure. So coming from me in this Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship of the World match, this is going to be a fantastic one. This one definitely could steal the show as well. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks. I just think, again, the Young Bucks coming from me are the greatest tag team in wrestling right now. They're the most fun to watch, and you just get infectious by just hearing this. You get infectious when you hear it. you just have to count every time they get a super kick in. So coming from me in this Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship of the World matchup, I am taking the Young Bucks to defeat the Motor City Machine Guns. And now the main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Of course, the challenger. He is the reigning IWGP Never Openweight Champion. Of course, he is representing and he is the leader of Suzuki Ichiban. Of course, he is the boss himself and one of my all-time favorites, Minoru Suzuki. Versus, of course, he is representing once again. Too sweet. Whoop, whoop. Of course, he is the reigning and defending Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, he is, of course, if you know his music, you know who I'm talking about. Do it all to get them on the feet. Of course, that is the music of the American Nightmare, Cody. Now, of course, at Best in the World, Cody realized his lifelong dream in becoming a Ring of Honor World Champion. Of course, defeating Christopher Daniels in Lowell to finally win his first major singles title in his career. Of course, he also brought a world title to the Rhodes family for the first time in over 30 years. So he made double history on that night. And of course, him being still a free agent, he has not signed with Ring of Honor, of course, makes it even more intriguing. Now, of course, I know a lot of people do not like Cody. Again, some people have their opinions. I actually like Cody. Cody's talented. And coming from me, he has elevated the Ring of Honor title to new heights. Somebody since Jay Lethal. But Cody has elevated the title. Of course, he main evented the G1 special in Long Beach against Okada. He's facing all of these tough challengers. Of course, he beat Christopher Daniels 2 out of 3 falls in a Ring of Honor championship match on Ring of Honor television. So he has been pretty damn dominant. Now, of course, in the UK at War of the Worlds, he challenged anybody. Of course, funny thing, he actually challenged Daniel Bryan, which was crazy. But he was bragging about, I will challenge anybody for this belt. And, of course, on the screen showed up Minoru Suzuki, which is the worst thing Cody could ever imagine to face. Now, of course, Cody is coming in with just confidence, of course. But a few weeks ago on Ring of Honor television, he came out and he was talking about, we're going to have a Ring of Honor. Now, when I say a Ring of Honor, he actually has a ring, and that's the Ring of Honor Championship. Of course, he still has the belt, but again, he has said that he'll either bring the ring or the belt. He doesn't care. He'll bring whatever he wants. But the whole point of the ring was the whole code of honor, you shake hands. When it comes to Cody with the Ring of Honor ring, you have to bend the knee and kiss the ring, which is just, come on, that's just genius. I mean, I love this because he can do whatever he wants. He's not signed with Ring of Honor. He doesn't have to abide to their rules. He is just, again, representing Bullet Club. They don't care about the rules, which I like about him. So Cody's coming in definitely confident. And then on the other side, you have Minoru Suzuki, who, of course, is the IWGP Never Openweight champion. Of course, it is a champion versus champion match. He, of course, defeated Michael Elgin a few weeks ago in Fukushima in a lumberjack death match, and he's coming in to look to win and become the first Japanese wrestler to ever win the Ring of Honor World Championship. Now, of course, this is his first match in the United States in over 25 years. So he hasn't wrestled in the United States since 1992 against the former World's Most Dangerous Man, Ken Shamrock. So he's coming in with some history. Of course, he could be a double champion and also could be the first Japanese wrestler to become the Ring of Honor World Champion. So there's some history there for sure. Now, coming from me, this is Cody's toughest test. by far, this is Cody's toughest test as Ring of Honor World Champion, because if you know Minoru Suzuki, he's a sadistic SOB. He will stretch you till you're dead. He will just work on a body part like Zack Sabre Jr. like crazy. This is definitely Cody's toughest challenge as Ring of Honor World Champion for sure, because he could have picked anybody, but it had to be Minoru Suzuki. So coming from me, and of course, the champions coming into this Death Before Dishonor are 12-2-1. So champions here have had pretty much good success at this pay-per-view. Of course, the last person to lose his Ring of Honor World title at this event was, of course, Jay Lethal last year. So the champion definitely has an advantage in history for sure. So coming from me in this Ring of Honor World Championship main event, oh my god, this one's tough because I love Cody, but I just adore Minoru Suzuki. I mean, he is just a badass, just a sadistic sumbitch. So coming from me in this matchup, they have to keep the belt on Cody. I think Cody can continue to elevate the Ring of Honor World title to new heights for sure. So coming from me in this Ring of Honor Championship matchup, I am taking Cody to defeat Minoru Suzuki and retain his Ring of Honor World Championship. And those are my Death Before Dishonor 2017 predictions. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy my predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning all of these matches? Who do you have between Cody and Minoru Suzuki? Who do you have between Lethal and Jay Lethal and Silas Young in that last man standing matchup? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. Of course, I'm always on to see your comments. Of course, hit the like button, and of course, reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, of course, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching. And of course, before you go, you can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. And of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I will see you later today for my Week 4 college football predictions and my Week 3 NFL predictions. Later days, and peace.